The shark battle, baboon battle, rhinoceros. That shit was wild.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
You ready?
Ready.
Strength and honor! Strength and honor! Cheers! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Late Night, Day Night, Daytime, Day Grind. Wherever you are, whenever you are. This is another movie episode review. Gladiator 2. Strength and honor!
Strength and honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight. We are back for another movie review. We have in the house special guest, Ranger Drew. He's back.
I'm here.
We are, again, just back. We've seen Gladiator 2. This is a reaction review. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Fresh out from the theater. No conversation on the way home. Once again, silent. Silent.
Awkward silence.
You can hear a pin drop. You can hear a lozenge being opened.
I was probably like grinding my teeth.
Very possible.
Waiting to talk about
very
this.
possible. All right, so let's get straight into the movie. Fight scenes, amazing. We're gonna do a little basic structure. All right, what's the structure that I pulled up for us to talk about this movie? We're gonna go first reactions, performances, favorite parts, final thoughts, the end. First reactions. Battle scenes, fight scenes, a lot of top actors' performances I enjoyed. What do you think straight out the gate?
Yeah, fight scenes were pretty good. I liked them a lot.
Shark battle in the Colosseum. Are you fucking kidding me?
I like the creativity. There was
Historically accurate. Did you know that?
no.
They're historically accurate. I've been to the Colosseum. I did the tour.
No way.
I did the tour.
They had sharks in the Colosseum in real life.
They flooded the Colosseum and did many ship battle stages, just like they did. The sharks, I'm not sure about, but I'm sure they did because a lot of the animals is real. The Colosseum, they would just take animals from the globe, big meeting point in the world at the time, Rome, and so a lot of that highly possibly accurate. But I know the ship battles, at least per our tour guide, Mr. Rome, accurate.
That was a cool spectacle for sure. The ship battle, like the mock sea battle in the Colosseum.
Fucking
definitely
rhinoceros?
cool.
Rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Baboon super fight.
Yeah, the baboon, like
Sharks. Shark attacks.
jacked baboons,
I mean,
rhinoceros, shark attack.
I heard a little bit of chatter, some people complaining about some of the animals and stuff like that. But here's the craziest thing I don't think everyone realizes is if what I was taught in school and my Roman tour guide, a lot of that was accurate. Fighting these wild animals. So even though if it seems ridiculous in this movie, which to us it does, it seems out of control.
It was.
I believe it's true.
It was kind of unbelievable, which is why I was shocked when you said that your Roman tour guide said they did the boat fights and possibly 100%, sharks.
That's accurate.
That's
the sharks I don't know about, but the boat. Yeah, I forget how to phrase it, but that is real. They flooded the Colosseum. They would have many ships for gladiators to battle to put on a spectacle. You know, it was like, you know, the WWE meets MMA meets death of their time.
Yep.
I mean, it was unreal. So that's real. Historically, possibly, asterisk, accurate.
Possibly. Maybe.
Well, you know, I've got to leave the door open because who knows?
Right.
Maybe I was lied to.
They have some creative, leeway there. So I appreciate it. Knowing that was having been there yourself and hearing the tour guide say that.
I've been to the Colosseum. Have you?
No.
It's big.
I bet.
It will surprise you.
Okay.
And one of the weird things, so from the outside, it's gigantic. It looks like a modern day football stadium. From the inside looks smaller because it has a lot of infrastructure. So the inside looked smaller to me, but you have to also imagine that it was, it was built up at the time. I'm sure they had flags and banners raised. I'm sure inside when it was, in its glory, I'm sure it looked much more massive. But the infrastructure surprised me, which is why a lot of that stuff is possible.
Yeah.
You had cage, underground areas. So wild.
Well, also, you don't want it to be like as huge as a football field because you want the people and animals fighting to be in more close contact than like a 100-yard football field. So
you want to be able to see it.
But
just
being
like
huge from the outside
event.
and close and more intimate on the inside, that's interesting.
Favorite animal fight?
I think the baboons in the beginning.
Baboon was
It
wild.
set the tone for.
So let's go on the basic storyline very quickly. Again, spoiler alert, of course. So this is the tale of Russell Crowe's Maximus's son was sent off away somewhere. I don't know where the Africas. Who knows? Some colonization area. I'm sure. Grew up on his own. Gets thrown back into slavery through a battle, and once again, just like Dad in the Gladiator, Colosseum has to fight his way out. So, just. The story had a little too much mirror for my taste.
Agreed. Yeah, it was very similar to the original movie.
Yeah,
the kind of curveball for me was that it was Maximus's son, but not with the wife that got killed at the beginning of the original Gladiator. It was like kind of an illegitimate child.
Well,
the love child.
But that's why he was the prince.
Yes.
That's why he was of royal blood. You're right. You're 100% right. That's what's really interesting. Same actress. I got to pull up the cast because we're going to go into cast, but let's get it all right. Connie Nielsen plays Lucilla, the mom. But yeah, a lot of people came back, a lot of new faces, but we'll just say a lot of similarities. Okay, so
lot of similarities.
Final fight scene. The animal fight scene. What did you say?
I said baboons was pretty
baboon
cool.
Was
it set
sick.
the tone.
When he bit the baboon,
you just gotta you have to embrace the CGI. Like it's just part of cinema these days. And so,
but the little monkey was real on the other prints.
Yes. The little monkey was real. That was
we'll get into that.
Yes,
but you're right. Embrace the CGI.
In the beginning, the first battle scene where it's like the Roman Empire is invading the city. And the ships coming into the port city, like on the seawall.
So the
battle.
Opening scene, yes, the opening scene. So that was a foreign city. They were taking over a foreign city.
That was a little heavy in the CGI for me. I thought it was kind of like cartoony, but after that, I said, okay, that's just what it's going to be, and I embraced it, and it helped me enjoy the rest of the movie because obviously the animals are CGI. There were some other CGI effects later on, but. Probably mentally, I just had to push past that.
That was smart. You got on board early. You said,
did.
You know what?
I did.
Okay, I see what I'm up for. Let me just buckle up.
Yes.
Let's not be mad at it. Embrace it.
Yep.
And go through it.
And I will say, full disclosure, I read a review that kind of bashed a lot of the things in the movie and that we've already talked about, like the similar plot line, the heavy CGI. And I just decided I'm not going to let that influence me. I'm not going to let it bias me as much as it probably might have.
Yeah.
Because I consciously recognize that bias and just try to push past it.
That's smart. That's how I felt about World War Z. I accepted the zombies weren't going to live up to my expectations, but everything else about the movie was
It was
perfect.
a great movie.
One of Brad Pitt's best. Perfect. Neither here nor there.
Yep.
Cheers. Strength and honor, Brad Pitt.
Strength and honor, Brad Pitt.
50, 60 years old. Still crushing it, whatever he is.
Oh, man. What a god.
All right. So... initial impressions. So we're not going to get too heavy into the full criticisms yet, but a lot of parallels, really interesting fight scenes. I didn't feel as invested as Gladiator 1. I felt very with the characters in Gladiator 1. This one I was not as invested. So I enjoyed it. A lot of performances were great, but for whatever that missing X factor was, I don't think I was as emotionally invested in the entire storyline.
I agree with you, but I think some of that has to do with just knowing it's a sequel. And so, But
they waited how long to do the sequel?
It's been 20 plus years.
Yeah. So to a degree, I'm not going to give it that pass because They waited 20 years. So if you waited that long, then everything should be as close to perfect as you can get. Your goal should be to best it, which is very difficult. I would quote Gladiator original as one of the biggest and best movies of our lifetime. It
was influential,
hands
for sure.
down. Performances, cinematography, story, writing, editing, everything is as good as movies get.
Yeah.
So knowing that, you want to make a sequel, I feel like you have to shoot to beat it. Not just, it's a sequel. We know it's not going to be good enough. No. 20 years, you've had 2 decades to rifle through and make it as good as you can. So, somewhat... Like it's not even close. It's not even. It's not even close. It's not even like one we're going to discuss. Man, is this one better or not? It's not even the discussion.
It's not even close.
It's disappointing.
Like you said, it's too similar.
Yeah.
It didn't branch out. It didn't look at the plot from a different perspective. It's basically a carbon copy of the first one.
Yeah,
but
with weaker writing. With weaker writing.
It's a carbon copy, which is like a carbon copy. You know, the sheet on the bottom of the top.
It's almost like 3. It's almost like when you do the job and you have the 3 copies, one for you, one that's the carbon copy, and one to give to the customer. It's like the third, 4th, or 5th copy. This is the customer copy. That's where it's at, and that's unfortunate. Okay, so we're gonna park.
All right, review over. That's pretty much the whole.
We're gonna
thing.
Park the critique for right now,
good.
and we're gonna move to some positive because there was some things that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the lead, Paul Mescal.
Yes.
Obviously,
yes.
we're gonna. This is tough to not compare, but it's called Gladiator 2. Not as good as Russell Crowe, but good. He carried it better than I thought. He's to a degree. He's not an unknown, but I would equate this as his first major big break as a leading role, as a huge studio, multi-million dollar project leading role. I would say this is one of his first projects. He didn't screw it up. That's a lot of weight. He was solid. He didn't blow my socks off, but he was solid. The leading man has to kind of, to a degree, carry the production. So he didn't mess it up. He's solid.
Well, I agree. He completely carried it. I can't fault him at all. The plot is not his problem.
Not his problem. Work with what you got.
He played the role.
Yep.
Very, very, very well. More than adequately.
He did better than I expected, for sure. Let's move into some other performances. Top of the list, Pedro Pascal. I love him in general. He's been putting out good work for a while now. So he did not disappoint. Obviously, his performance, you only make it through, a third or half of the movie where his performance has to go up against his essentially stepson-ish vibes.
Yeah,
so he's obviously
stepson.
Obviously married, so stepson-ish.
Yeah.
Yep. So has to go up against him. Very dramatic, but everything he does, very solid. And I think that's important to make that component matter because it's complex.
Yeah, he definitely he just plays winning roles. He doesn't pick a bad role.
True.
He plays them all well. Again, with the plot and where it was going, I think he capitalized as much as he could.
It's a complex character. He's a general working for a pair of twin emperors that he doesn't believe in. He's still going to war, doing his thing, creating enemies, who turns out to be Lucius, and still brings that dynamic element when he finds out that it's his essentially stepson. You see some humanity, you see some understanding. So he's able to do pretty well with that complexity in a short amount of time. I like that. I like that from him a lot.
Yeah, he did show a lot in a little bit of film screen time. You're right.
Just goes to show you there are no small parts, only small actors. He wasn't like, as much screen time as some of the other people, but he was a powerful character, memorable, and you understood how important his part of the story was.
Yeah, he definitely was important to the plot, his character. And like we said, for as little as he was on screen, it held a lot of weight.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that. Let's move into, I'm going to save Denzel for a little bit. I'm going to save it. Let's go into Joseph Quinn. from Stranger Things, plays Eddie. So big role for Joseph Quinn, different look. You might not recognize him. He's also going to be Iceman coming up in Fantastic Four.
Oh, no
along
kidding.
with Pedro Pascal. So there's some more fun.
Okay.
He's Mr. Fantastic. There's some fun news if you haven't been paying attention. So more connections. But interestingly enough, Joseph Quinn looks completely different. Eddie, brown, long hair, rock star. Now we got this blonde prince. The twins. I'm going to be critical of the twins. I was not wild about the twins. Joseph Quinn's performance was pretty good. The other twins' performance was okay. Wasn't the worst. Wasn't my favorite. But both of them, they served the necessary plot elements. Joseph Quinn had some moments, but same deal. It's almost like they tried to split the task of playing Joaquin Phoenix's character, who was a performance of a lifetime.
It was a good performance.
Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator 1, his role, some of the best acting, filmmaking, scene work you'll ever see. So it's almost like they're like, we know it's not going to be as good. Maybe if we throw 2 actors at that energy, we'll meet Joaquin Phoenix. And I got good news, bad news. Good news, Joaquin, you're still the king. Bad news, 2 actors could not bring the performance to that level. The 2 emperors were not as good as Joaquin. Not even close.
No. As much as you think Joaquin is like bratty and whiny in the first one, they are tenfold as
because
whiny, bratty, childish seeming.
It's a more
like
Joaquin's is more realistic. Like I feel like he is actually still in some degree of command. Yep. Some degree of empowerment runs through him, whereas the 2, I don't even know how they're top throne. How could they have conquered what they have? I to a degree, I don't buy that. They're too weak. They're too weak.
And as they, spoiler alert, allude to towards like the last third of the movie, one of the twins has like some kind of brain disease, psychological disease.
Did you see that?
It sounds like they allude to like syphilis. I'm gonna bleep
it out. Yeah.
They allude to like syphilis affecting
reaching his brain. Yeah,
and he kind of cuckoo, which you can tell he's the more unsettled of the 2 twins.
Yeah, 100%. He's like,
but it's
rascally little brother twin. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't wild with that. Now, I get it. They're alluding to it. Probably also historically accurate, but
might be.
You didn't make it. It didn't make sense enough. Oh, he's just the unhinged one. Oh, okay.
Right. And how do they ascend to power?
Exactly. See, I didn't get enough depth. That's probably the right word from either of them.
No. And even there's a little pre-script in the beginning saying so many years after the death of Marcus Aurelius.
How did you feel about the pre-script, as you mentioned, the written text we read and the exposition? It felt a little like Princess Bride-y to me.
It was pretty weak. It did not really place the setting of what's happening.
A movie of that caliber, I had these thoughts for quite a bit during the beginning. I kind of almost got lost in myself. I thought if you want to create power in the opening scene, it should be through a character's eyes, but through the film. Take them through what they're seeing in a battle scene, whatever it is. Take them through those emotions. To open up with the text, the exposition, I wasn't hooked. It took me a bit to settle in. It could have been we had some drinks before. By the way, hey, drinks at the theater. We did it for this review. We didn't do it for the last review. We did it for this review. I think it was a great idea. Made it pretty awesome. If you're going to the movies with your friends, have a drink. It's awesome. But
yeah, beers in the theater is definitely.
It was pretty sweet. The only crux of it is I had to sneak away and have a pee, and that maybe was poor planning, but that's the risk of drinking in the theater. When you're drinking with your friends at the bar, you don't even think about how often you have to hit the head. But in the movie, you're missing time, so I did have to sneak away. Drinks in the theater. Anyway, so yeah, those 2, they did not equal, not even close.
No.
Joaquin's performance.
And back to the pretext, it was literally 3 sentences. It was by the way, however many years ago Marcus Aurelius died, now these guys kind of suck, and that's where we are.
There are better ways to convey that information.
Definitely.
And make me feel invested. You have to hook people from the beginning, especially, once again, I'm going to say it a few times. 20 some odd years later, you have to bring your A game. Bring people in. You want to tell that story? That's fine. There are ways to tell it through scene. There are ways to tell it through, feeling it out a little more viscerally. And the exposition was just lazy.
I agree.
It took me a while to get
lazy.
connected.
It was fast.
I mean,
if it hadn't been for Pedro Pascal in the opening scene with the battle, it really would have lost me
That's where I
early.
started to get in, and part of it was like it wasn't character based. It was like, oh, Pedro's here. He's gonna do something good.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not thinking in terms of the movie. I'm thinking of, I like this actor. He's gonna do something I like.
Yep, I agree.
That's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, you're like planning for him to carry you through to the next
good actor,
to the next like sequence of the plot,
and some action is gonna happen. Good actor and action, I might be saved, but I wasn't into it. Like, do you remember the beginning of it, the original Gladiator, with the older Marcus Aurelius? I mean, all of that battle scene, it was like, dude, I felt like I was there. You felt emotion. You learned these characters, what it meant. It was on another level. It wasn't even close. I mean, both of which were directed by Ridley Scott. So, what happened? Ridley, how many benders you been on in 2 decades? What happened?
The plot lines are so similar that even in the start of the first one,
it's almost like, did you forget? It's been 20 years. Did you forget?
In this new one where they're like launching the catapults of oil or whatever, it's like exactly like the first movie in the battle scene where they're launching the fire through the catapult in the woods. And Maximus like leading the charge through
do you know what's thing
heathens or barbarians or whatever they are to conquer.
Very similar, but not as good. Do you know what made me happy though that I was worried about? I thought they were going to try to do the same storyline with the best friend, Jaimon Hansu. I don't know how to say his name. You know what I'm talking about from the original one?
Went through the gladiator training and like all the fights with him.
So they had
I agree with you.
They had the African friend who was supposed to be like super close to him, and I was like, if they try to create the exact same friendship storyline,
same thing.
Oh my god! But he ends up dying early, which I was like, okay, at least it's not exactly
in the
same.
baboon fight. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to go fight for that.
He didn't
just
even
kill
fight.
Me.
He just laid down and let the baboons take him, which I respected. But I was like, I honestly was like, is this going to be the exact same movie? Am I watching the same movie? Oh, his son comes in, and he's got this friend.
He also has a black friend who fights in the arena with him. Yeah.
Holy shit! That was the only positive thing about him dying. And I was like, oh, maybe it's not the same.
Maybe
movie.
it's different. Yeah.
For a minute, I was like, is this a remake?
Right.
Am I just watching a remake? Jesus! And the fact that those are the conversations in my head.
Agreed.
Not enjoying the movie, the performances, the storyline. That was the first, let's say, third. I'll say the last 2/3 I got more invested, but the first third, all I kept thinking is this a repeat? Why am I not hooked? I'm not hooked. Where's Pedro? Pedro, thank you for making this scene. Pedro, I love you.
Save us, Pedro.
Save me, Pedro. And every other scene, please. Oh, good. Here's some action. Oh, Pedro, where are you? Please tell me about this scene.
Fight scene. Is Pedro next?
Please, please. God. And then everyone else just fucking B squad. So I was going the first third. So but 2/3 it comes back.
I agree. The first third, I was in the same mindset. I was like, that's a lot of CGI. Okay, the baboon fight's cool, but still a ton of CGI, like kind of hokey CGI.
Okay, performances. We only have a couple minutes for our commercial break.
All right.
We can carry on to the next one, but did any other performances stand out to you? Sans Denzel. We're going to talk about Denzel in part 2 after the commercial break. Denzel's coming after the commercial break. Anyone other than Denzel, did any performance catch your eye?
Honestly, no. No. They brought in some characters from the first movie, but
one of the original senators, the guy with the blonde hair. I appreciated that. He has no lines in this.
But it was very insignificant.
He has no lines, but I appreciate he was there.
Yeah, his only line was like, "Oh, you're here. We're in trouble." or like, you have to get out of here, whatever it was.
Okay,
but yeah, it was
the senator that Denzel overtakes is Matt Lucas. I don't even know because I can't tell. I was really disappointed. Insignificant. He was supposed to be a main character. Did not impress me by any means. I mean, no. Dude, I'm trying to think. Did anyone else stand out? And it's almost like
there's not a lot of like character development or like powerful acting to be had to even stand out.
The plot was weak. Character development was
non-existent.
I'm trying to think of someone else that stood out, man. Connie Nielsen as the mother, Lucilla. She was okay. She was not as good as the first one. She was not even the highlight of the first one. She was not as good as herself in the first one, so she got downgraded from herself. Disappointing. Who else?
She could have been a mannequin.
She easily could have been a mannequin, another actress. I wouldn't even blinked.
Nope.
They slipped in another actress and didn't tell me. I wouldn't have known. So, really disappointing. I'm even looking through the top billed cast, and all these people, and nobody stood out. How about the long-haired, dark-skinned doctor? Was that what he was? A doctor?
Self-proclaimed doctor, at
Ravi,
least.
former gladiator turned doctor. Yeah. Okay.
A confidant to Lucius.
Average. He drew me in a couple times, but average. Did anything blow you away?
Again, he did, I think, the most that he could with the plot and the role.
Yeah,
I just don't think it was good.
The lines were
writing.
Disappointing.
Yeah, the script was
Ooh.
Again, it didn't give a lot of opportunity for like actors or actresses to shine.
Not a ton of opportunities, but you know what? We have more opportunities in part 2. We're going to shine through these sponsors. We're going to hit part 2. Be right back because you know what? Part 2, we have Denzel. Let's bring the music in. I just wanted the music because per Ranger Drew's request. Guys, welcome back from the commercial break. We are here to discuss Gladiator 2 reaction review. Insights, thoughts, provocations, likes, dislikes. We're doing it all. By the way, if you made it this far, subscribe. The channel needs help. Subscribe. Send it to a friend. Send a like. Comment anything down below. You love it, you hate it. Who cares? Write something. Make the algorithm dance. Do something.
Make the algorithm dance.
Strength and honor!
Strength and honor.
All right, per Ranger Drew's request, we were on performances. We are now on Denzel. Denzel, I will quote as one of the best performances in the whole movie. But, still suffered from the same symptom, the same problem, the disease. The script was weak.
Yes. If you didn't know that Lucius was Maximus's son in the sequel from the first movie, you'd think that Denzel was the star, like the protagonist.
Yeah, or the antagonist. I mean, it was hard to tell where it was really convoluted, okay? Who was the antagonist? Was it the twins? No, they were throwaway in my opinion. It was Denzel. Denzel was, in my opinion, the antagonist.
Big picture, yes.
Paul Mescal, Lucius, was the protagonist. All in hindsight, that's what I saw. The twins were throwaway, which is disappointing. Denzel was the true player in the game, and he was good, and he was subtly good. There were no big emotional moments. There were no groundbreaking scenes that are going to give him the option to run for best supporting actor or best actor, whatever. Nothing of note. But Denzel, he's to the point in his career, he doesn't do bad work. So everything he did was good. And he carried, on the other half, a lot of that film because, like I said, Paul Mescal, our lead, solid.
Solid.
Did enough. Wasn't upset. However,
definite B+ for him.
Yeah, it's not an A. It's
not
an A because
I haven't seen his other work. I'm not disappointed.
No. We're only talking about this. We're only talking about this. He didn't give me enough. A lead actor needs to carry the whole damn thing. Denzel basically caught everything he was dropping because Denzel gave it as best as he could. Not a great script, and the lead was not bringing. Nowhere near Russell Crowe's lead, unfortunately. Like once again, Paul did great, but Denzel was probably the best. Actually, I don't know. It's either between him and Pedro Pascal as the best performance there. Denzel did amazing, as he always does. He did not disappoint. I mean, I don't know. That's what I think. What do you think?
I agree. Like we said, the limitations with the script and the plot, he did what he could.
There were some scenes I really liked, but there's so many scenes where it's like, fuck, man, like this is not enough. Don't you think?
That's kind of the movie in a nutshell.
Fuck, man, this is not enough.
Not enough.
That's the quota for this.
Like
this
you
YouTube title.
had 20 years, not enough. Not enough.
I mean,
I'm not mad at Denzel. But the plot in general, it was like, okay, in the last third, he's trying to ascend to power.
This is the kind of movie
from his spot.
You have to say yes to because it's such a big movie. So everybody's going to say yes.
Yeah.
But regardless of how bad the script is, whatever it is, everyone's going to say yes. Same director, sequel to Gladiator, everyone's going to say yes. But man, they did not deliver on the story.
No. So, in your opinion, what was Denzel's motivation? Or Denzel's character's motivation?
It changed, and it wasn't consistent, and he was interesting. In the end, you learn, I guess, I don't know if he thought this or was just an opportunist. Most of me thinks he's just an opportunist, and that's why he's been able to rise from the bottom as a gladiator to where he is now. Is he recognized the chance to, hey, we have some really weak leadership. I can gamble my way, then navigate my way politically.
But what was he a gladiator?
Top. Yeah, he said he was.
Or was he a soldier in Marcus Aurelius's
I thought he said that he was a gladiator and worked his way up, but I could be dead wrong. At that point in the movie, I had gone to get a second drink and the bar was closed, and I was disappointed, so I missed a couple minutes. Fucking Ted at AMC. Go yourself for closing the bar.
Do better, Ted.
No, Ted, we love you. You got to keep the bar open late. Everybody was waiting for you. There was no second drink.
I understand you have limitations too, but
everyone's got a boss, Ted. We get it, but we could have used that second drink. Better. We could have used that second drink, so I went out to get it, and we didn't get it. Either way, neither here nor there.
So I don't know what Denzel's character's motivation was walking away from the movie. Like, was it
once again? It's not good.
He talks about how the theory of Rome and their liberty is broken, but also talks to Marcus Aurelius' daughter about how Marcus Aurelius screwed him over somehow.
Yeah, at one point he mentions, I knew your father, I knew your grandfather. Oh, so you knew everybody in Gladiator 1? Who were you? Who were you in Gladiator 1?
So was his motivation to screw over Marcus Aurelius? Or
maybe that's what it seemed like at the end. Was his motivation
like to be an opportunist because there was a power vacuum because the emperors were so weak? I
think he was an opportunist, and I think that's what it boiled down to. There was a couple moments where, you thought maybe he knew this family and he wanted to enact his revenge. But what I gathered most is that he was an opportunist and that he just saw a rise to power where, someone like him wouldn't normally have had access to it, but he grinded his way to the top, mad respect. But man, did any of it make sense?
No, it was convoluted. Both those viewpoints are valid.
We had some drinks. We were cutting it loose before. Side note, audience, look at me. We were cutting a little loose before the movie, but. What happened?
So Was it because he hated Marcus Aurelius because he was in his army, or was it because he saw a power vacuum? Like, again, his motives to me were kind of unclear.
Unclear. I'm so glad you said that. That's literally the words I was going to say. It's unclear.
Yeah.
Right. I guess it's one word. Unclear. What was happening? The story was weak. Performances, like you said, did as good as they could. The story for 20 years. And you know, I don't want to hear about. Maverick just proved. Top Gun Maverick just proved that you can do anything with 20 years. Top Gun Maverick
that was
is
almost 30 years.
That's a near perfect movie and substantially better than the original. It's almost difficult to compare because people forget when the original came out, and it's so characterized by its time. It's very original Tom Cruise 80s. But Maverick is a near perfect film. Same characters, storylines, writing, and is better than the original, in my opinion. I don't know what do you feel? Okay, well,
I haven't seen Maverick.
What? Jesus. Andrew's up.
You're
never going to see Andrew again. Either way, next question. Maverick was better than the original. Gladiator 2 was not even close.
No.
It wasn't even in the conversation. That's a disappointment. It wasn't even in the conversation.
No. Like, I can forget Gladiator 2 existed and be happy with Gladiator 1.
Yeah. Well, to me, Gladiator 2 felt more like a Netflix film.
Yes.
I don't mean that by any disrespect.
Netflix
I just
puts
feel
out
like
good stuff, but
Netflix puts out good stuff, but I felt like that was like, oh, I went home and I put on a Netflix film and I just chilled out after a hard work day and I just went to bed. Nothing special, solid. Performances were solid. Production quality looked good. Movie looked good.
It looked good, yeah.
Costumes looked good. Cinematography looked good.
Yep.
Was proud of all that.
Checked all those blocks.
Checked the boxes. It was realistic in that regard.
Yeah.
But as a movie, that was a Netflix movie. That was not we went to the theater, which we don't go often.
Nope.
We went to the theater to watch it.
On purpose.
And I would have been fine streaming this at home and forgetting about it.
Yeah. Definitely forgettable. Forgettable.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Let's go back to Gladiator 1.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Strength and Gladiator. Stay with Gladiator 1.
Okay, we're ragging on it. Let's move on. Before we move to the final conclusion, favorite moment of the film, period. In any aspect, anything, camera work, performance, story, absolute, what was your best moment that you can highlight of the film? Doesn't have to be intense. Just, is there anything you remember that you liked? You're taking a long fucking time. Dude.
You?
Is there any?
I mean,
did you not like anything? I have a few moments. Yes, I have a few things. Holy shit! I'm almost just strength and honor that Scotch, coffee, Bailey's out the door. All right, strength and honor. What is there anything that you liked?
Like I said earlier, when I got over my biases about the CGI and the repeated plot, I was entertained. I was entertained. I was entertained by the spectacle.
It was too similar.
But when you get past that, again, like I said, I was entertained by the spectacle. I was like, this is a cool movie to watch in a theater. But
it's hard to do.
Would I pay for it again?
No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. It's hard to do a movie of that scale with all the costumes and everything. No. Okay, so once again, you didn't answer my question in the slightest. Was there anything that you liked as a standout? It can be something small. Was there anything that you liked?
Very small in the beginning. they have like kind of an ode to the original movie in the beginning, like credits, like where they introduce.
You're telling me your favorite part of the movie, the standout moment, was the credits. Oh, the entryway credits that just showed you paint style clips of the first movie.
That's pretty telling, right?
That's your favorite part?
That's pretty telling, right? About the whole movie?
Out of here.
That's what stands out.
Oh my God.
All the fight scenes were so like
fine. You're right.
The
you
apes
bring the
and
heat.
the rhinos and the sharks were so like CGI overkill.
Okay, yes, overkill. Fine. F- it. You don't want to take the torch? I'll take the torch. I
for it.
enjoyed the Colosseum action because, like I said, I don't think people realize if the history is accurate, that the Colosseum was a fucking circus. The fact that they brought all sorts of animals from the planet to fight humans to the death. They flooded the Colosseum to do boat battles, like ships, whatever you want to call it. Like, the Colosseum was insane. I almost feel like the Colosseum was the lead of this movie. It almost like wanted to highlight, hey, in case you forgot, if you've not been to Rome, go to Rome, see the Colosseum in real life. It's real. I got news for you, TikTok. It's fucking real. Go look at it.
Yeah, TikTok.
The Colosseum is real.
It's real.
And there are humans just like us that pit other humans just like us against each other to die in the Colosseum. I almost feel like Gladiator 2 was just almost like a memorandum to slavery, because slavery has been a part of every civilization ever. One group of people has put another group of people in enslavement and done something. In this case, it was the spectacle of sport, which is like, we watch NFL games right now. People don't die. But back then, they just took people we conquered. Hey, fight to the death and we'll watch it. Our peasants will watch it because they're too disappointed in how starving they are, but they'll watch it because what else are we going to do? So anyway, the spectacle, the Colosseum might have been the lead. The shark battle, baboon battle, rhinoceros. That shit was wild. But the best points about the movie, period. Pedro Pascal. Number one, Pedro Pascal. He's always solid. Denzel's a close second. His performances are good, but here's the biggest problem of it all. None of it made sense. I wasn't invested.
No.
I wasn't invested.
I will say,
brings back to the lead, our boy, Paul Mescal, not to be confused with the tequila mezcal, which we'll drink some after this review in 15, 16 minutes. Mezcal. No. Now,
I'll say Pedro Pascal's character was the one that you felt the most connection to, I think.
Denzel was interesting. You're right. I didn't feel connected to him. But
he was interesting, but no connection.
You didn't feel connected to him.
No.
You tried to get connected to Lucius.
No. They tried hard to get you connected to Denzel's character and Lucius.
Failed.
And they failed.
Get connected with the twins. Failed.
Nope.
Get connected with our lead character, Lucius. Failed.
Don't care.
Pedro was the only character as an audience member I felt connected with.
Agreed.
Connie Nielsen, also Lucilla, the mom, failed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Her scene, I felt like when she went to see Lucius in his cell and tell him, hey, I'm your mom. Hey, this is your father. That just felt like exposition bullshit. That didn't seem like a real moment at all. Did you feel like that was real? Hey, by the way, I'm your mother. Hey, by the way, the greatest gladiator ever who's scratched off on the ivory wall is your father. Hey, by the way, this, that, and the other. All bullshit. Fucking bull fucking shit.
Yeah. She did not sell it to me
either.
She was not emotional. Her son that you sent away however many years ago, you find out is in a cell in the Colosseum, and you go there, and you're not emotional.
She was solid in movie one, and I'll say like B- solid, and she did not bring it in this movie.
No.
She didn't bring it.
Again, I don't want to blame her. Maybe that was the direction from the beginning, where she was supposed to be more stoic.
Direction's on Ridley Scott, so direction is a failure. You made Gladiator 1 a masterpiece. Gladiator 2, you should have left it fucking store.
Forgettable.
So forgettable. I felt like it was more like a Netflix series. I've seen episodes of Vikings on Netflix that was better than this dog shit they put out.
Ouch.
Man.
Ouch.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I don't remember. There's so few moments I remember that I enjoyed.
No, I agree. Like I said, forgettable easily.
And I got news for you too. Paul Mescal, Lucius, your character, unbelievably forgettable.
Yeah.
We're going against Russell Crowe's Gladiator, one of the best characters of our time, one of the best movies of our time.
Yeah.
The sequel, the lead, Paul Mescal, I don't think it's your fault. However, that character is 100% forgettable.
And I'll say it was kind of weird. In the beginning, he was like very emotional. His wife dies in the initial scene with the battle of the
I didn't
Roman
feel super
army
invested in that. Did you?
Invading. No,
Maybe I was had too much to drink at that point.
But he's like crying and very emotional. And then later on, he's very much like, I don't care. I'm going to kill everyone because I want revenge.
But why?
Yeah, but it was like a very synthetic like switch to that. It was not like any one moment like made him decide, all right, I'm going to turn towards revenge. It was more just like sad.
Every plot point felt forced.
Yes.
I felt like you were forcing me through the story. Like I was reading chapters of an average book and you were forcing me through the story. You're making me go through this moment and that moment. I didn't feel for the characters.
Nope.
I didn't understand all of their choices.
Nope.
I didn't agree with all their choices. And in the end, Pedro Pascal did not save us.
Unfortunately.
He died like 33% in.
Yeah.
Maybe arrow scene was cool. The arrow scene was cool. And realistically, I felt like Lucius would have also died from the arrows. Somebody would have sent an inaccurate arrow and he would have died. All of the Colosseum shot arrows at the general when he died. Realistically, on the other side, our hero would have also been clipped by an arrow.
They were just really good shots. They were not like stormtroopers shooting arrows. Yeah. They were actually like accurate.
That was cool. But that was a cool moment.
It was okay.
Okay, Denzel. Once again, Denzel. Do you know what's pissing me off is like, I'm not happy. I'm not fucking happy.
What's pissing you off? Tell me.
Fucking happy. I'm trying to pick like a best moment, best performance, best anything. I can't pick a best anything.
Well, that's like when you said, "What's your fate? What's a standout moment?" And I
Pedro Pascal.
I have
that's
nothing.
it.
Exactly.
Pedro is my best moment. When
he was the only character that I cared about.
I give a fuck. Everyone else, you just fucking phoned it in. B Squad fucking movie. Ridley Scott, this is your movie. You directed it. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You brought your 20 years later. You brought a B minus movie. That's how I feel.
Yeah, do better.
Do fucking better. Final thoughts. We're already on the final thoughts because I'm upset. You got me upset earlier than I thought. You got me upset. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Wait till it comes out on Netflix.
Watch it on Netflix. Don't fucking pay for it.
Don't.
I'm all for supporting movie. You know what's funny? They even put a clip of the three leads, Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, and Joseph Quinn. Denzel opted out. They couldn't pay him to do it. They said, please, thank you for coming to the theater. They did like this public service announcement. Yeah. Thank you for coming to the theater. How important it is. Bullshit. But right before the movie, which honestly.
Right before, yeah.
That was a mistake too because this set a weird tone.
You think so?
For me,
yeah.
It immediately took me out of what I was going to see, and I was like, "Huh, they're shilling me for movie money." Like it kind of like took me out of it. So I thought that was a mistake. Denzel didn't do it, but they were like praying, "Hey, please come to the movie."
Thank you so much for actually coming to see this.
Do you think Tom Cruise does that? No. Tom Cruise does the stunt of your life. And 20 media outlets write about it. He doesn't go and do a PSA before the movie. You already know. Tom put his life on the fucking line for this movie, and you already know. That's why you're fucking there. That's why you're elbow to elbow. You and I had space for days. We could have laid sideways and watched that fucking movie because no one wanted to watch it.
I almost rather would have napped.
Disappointing. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Highlight of the movie for me, Pedro Pascal. Anything he does. Denzel, he doesn't know how to do a bad performance. He worked with what he got. He got like the Cliff Notes fucking version. What did we say earlier? The carbon copy of the movie. Yeah. That's the script Denzel got also, and he made magic with it because he made magic with what he had. But fuck, man. As a whole, now it's time to get serious. As a whole, as a paying customer, I paid Regal Cinemas. AMC. I bought both our tickets. You bought me some drinks to level it out. I bought our tickets. I was disappointed as a customer. Disappointed. I wished I would have waited a year from now and streamed it. I was disappointed. 20 years you brought this movie back to us. It was a mistake. Absolutely. Ridley Scott, you directed it. You're the end of the line. You're like a head coach of a football team. It all falls on you. You fucked up. This movie wasn't good enough. Not even close.
Nope.
That's my final thoughts. Ridley Scott, pound sand, brother. Fuck you. What do you got, Andrew?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because
that's fucking pathetic.
Because
Ridley.
Like I said, after I got over the CGI and after I realized it was going to be not that great, I just all right, I'm here to be entertained for the next 2 hours. So
I agree with you.
Let me just soak into it.
Entertained,
I was never bored. Dude, I was never bored, but I was never it wasn't gripping.
Dude, we don't talk about mini movies. We don't bring the podcast. I don't do the cameras, the lights, the 1,000 hours of editing it's going to take to do this show. So please throw a thumbs up.
Please.
Write something. Please subscribe. I do a lot of work for this. I don't do all this for nothing. This should have been one of the biggest movies of the year because this is one of the biggest movies of our lifetime because
it's a big production.
Gladiator was one of the most high regarded films of Andrew's and our time. So this is the sequel. You waited 20 years, which means it should be good. It should be so good. You don't expect to be as good as the first, but in the conversation, and you know what? This was unbelievably short.
Fell way short.
I'm disappointed. Okay.
Let's go watch Gladiator 1.
We have a couple minutes left. Thank you guys for watching. Now we're going to rag on some bitches. Who was the worst in the whole fucking thing? Any scene, movie, actor, scene, anything. I will say I didn't like the short twin. He was fucking terrible. He was so one-dimensional. I feel bad because I'm going to call him out. But guess what? We got to fucking call him out. Is this kid named Fred Hetchinger? I think that's him. I could be wrong.
Was it just me, or is he like a carbon copy 2 or 3 of Ed Sheeran?
Dude, he was like a short, twisted, just bad acting Ed Sheeran. I don't know, but man, dude, I did not like his performance.
No.
He had no depth. Unbelievably one-dimensional. Oh, wow, you have a problem? Yeah, the timer goes off. One-dimensional.
He's bad.
Anything else you didn't like about the movie?
The early CGI, like I said.
That took you out. We got to highlight one before the time runs out.
Oh.
There was a real monkey scene with Denzel. Oh, who we're talking about? This is perfect. Who we're talking about? So, twin number 2, after twin number 1 dies, twin number 2 is in charge. Ed Sheeran twin is running shit. There's a scene with Denzel, a real monkey, and Ed Sheeran twin number 2. That is difficult to do. To do an acting scene with a real
with the monkey like jumping from their shoulders.
That wasn't CGI. That wasn't CGI.
No, that was good.
To see
that was good.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
All right, that's the best.
That's the best part. Denzel, Ed Sheeran 2, and monkey stunt double number 3 do a scene together. That was the most impressive thing of the entire movie. I don't know what else to say. If you want to see humans working with animal actors, this maybe is the movie for you. If you want to see the sequel to Gladiator 2, maybe this is a movie for you. If you want it to be as good as Gladiator 1, this is not the movie for you.
Nope.
If you want to spend your hard-earned tax-paid dollars to go see this movie and walk out with something positive, this is not the movie for you. Wait till it hits Netflix, and you can write on our comment list about how the monkey in the Denzel twin two brother scene was probably the best actor in this whole thing next to Pedro Pascal. This is the movie for you. I have nothing else to say. I have no other questions, thoughts, anything. Ranger Drew, thank you for coming along to watch me this. What did you think about the end? Are my sentiments correct?
Yes, that was the most difficult acting of the whole thing, was with the monkey climbing on the two shoulders, going back and forth. It was good, but
best actor in the entire movie was that stage, real life monkey.
When you think you want to see Gladiator 2, just watch Gladiator 1 again.
That's it for tonight. Thank you guys for coming along. We'll see you next week. Go watch the movie, listen to the movie, but honestly, wait till Netflix. We'll see you next big movie. Maybe it's fucking Wicked. I don't want to watch it, but fuck it. Maybe we'll watch it.
Maybe Wicked.
The camera's probably dead, but the audio's still rolling. Thank you, Ranger Drew. Thank you, audience. If I edit this in, who knows? But we will see you next week.